one of the cool things about indie hitmakers, we are a part of the puzzle. By no means do we see ourselves as the solution, because the reality is the solution is sort of several pieces. You need your marketing together, you need your product together. Innovation helps a lot with that. Your product being you, who you are, your music, obviously, all the way down to the actual packaging, all the way down to the live show and the experience you give. That's kind of your product. The marketing in that and the messaging and what you want to convey is important to hone in on. We kind of try to educate the artists, no matter what, that where we fit in is to help you document that venue experience, what kind of sales are happening, so you can leverage that with any sort of record deal you want to go after, whether independent label or major label. So you can document that when you're showing the radio reps or the PDs that, yes, you do have activity in their market. Yes, you are selling a lot in their market. In fact, last week you sold 200 at your last show. Here are the sound skins to prove it. Or you sold 5,000 at the Warp Festival in their market. Here's the sound skins to prove it. And that can show a story and create a leverage for you. But there's all sorts of other ways. Especially the what do you call it? The gold mark for our service is charting. When you chart on the Billboard charts as an independent, you suddenly go from, and I'm speaking from experience because we did it. I remember getting the word we got a top 10 single, and a tear came in my eye because it was so unexpected. We just totally did not expect to do it. But when you do that, that credibility kind of, the perception takes you to a new level. Like artists and the industry and fans kind of perceive you as on a higher level, because it's like, you're in Rolling Stone or you're on the Billboard charts. You're no longer just a local band. Adds to your credibility, but it's only one piece of the puzzle. That won't open up the world for you. That won't. What we were able to do with it was leverage a lot of different things. So you have to kind of put a strategy together, a marketing plan together, and build on it inch by inch. And that inch by inch turns into miles, and those miles turn into an incredible journey. So that's what we kind of educate the artists to understand. When they come to our site, we walk them through the process of getting set up right. We can provide UPC codes. We can educate them, get their what's called a title edition sheet registered. But the important thing to know about our service is, because of SoundScan's regulations, we stick strictly to that. So, for instance, if you have a release coming up, you want to make sure you sign up with us 3 weeks in advance of the street date, because it's going to take you 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks to even get into the database for SoundScan, so they can start actually counting your sales. Now, if you're selling a product through CD Baby, or for example, a lot of independents go through there. Well, the great news there is they already turn in a title edition sheet. Although CD Baby doesn't allow you to report venue sales, they do have their merchant slip, the Knuckle Buster program, which we were very familiar with. I think they take like 12.9%. We're actually going to launch a more favorable merchant solution in the future. But if you're selling those CDs through that merchant account solution, and even through cash and turning the CD Baby, that's great. But you also need to turn them into SoundScan, because they don't report those. So you can sign up with our service to augment what you're doing with CD Baby. And if you don't have any solution, come to us. But the point there was the title edition sheet that CD Baby turned in. All we do is turn in a new one, and it gets changed over really quick. So it should be pretty seamless with your reporting. You don't have to worry about any kind of 2 to 3 week turnaround. But for all new titles that have not been registered anywhere, plan on 2 to 3 weeks to get into the SoundScan system. That's period. That's for everybody. Sometimes, if you're lucky, sometimes we can expedite it because they may not have a backlog, but don't count on it. plan ahead. Our main success stories are all the bands who are now documenting their sales that were not before, and that's a lot of bands. Um, None of them have, as of today, none of them have charted. However, we're expecting one of them to chart who actually has distribution through Warner's on a huge tour. They just turned in some really significant numbers recently, but I don't want to jump the gun. We'll see about that. But yeah, it's just an exciting time, man. The the opportunities that are out there. I mean, sounds as cliche as it you've probably heard over and over again. You know, the internet has done this, that, and the other. But you know, I mean, truly, it's all about people getting innovative, getting smart, taking the tools and finding new ways to use them. That's all we've really done. Taking the same tools that have existed, find new ways to use them, taking technology, finding ways to put it together to innovate on our service, for instance. We've actually had artists who, we're dealing with artists now who remain nameless, that is on their third warning. And we basically reserve the right based on our end user agreement to terminate the relationship if we have some, abuse. But what we do, the way the process works, we model our process based on SoundScan's process, but we also try to keep our reporting integrity intact by being even more vigilant. We kind of have criteria set up. But that said, the way SoundScan works, they will randomly check the numbers reported because the SoundScan venue settlement sheet requires that you have a venue manager sign off on your sales and put their contact information. And essentially, SoundScan will call them to verify randomly in any sales. And if yours doesn't check out, or they can't reach them, or they can't be verified, they won't count. We do the same thing. We verify sales, and we may be super proactive about it because we want to ensure our data sent to SoundScan is top notch. So yeah, we've had that happen where an artist has listed some fictitious person, and clearly we typically verify with the venue that the people listed actually work at the venue. So that helps.